guys, welcome to the third one we're doing right now, the third interview, with a very special guest with us, a good friend of ours at Crushing the Meta. Welcome. My name is JJ, and I'm joined today with.
Hey Godfathers, I missed the time leap.
Awesome. Hi, Erik. Erik, actually, Erik, because it's a Dutch
Yeah,
name.
this is the Dutch name.
Because he's from the Netherlands, just like yours truly, and most of us from Crushing the Meta as well. And together with the Benelux boys and of Chris that we had on a couple interviews ago, because we had Quinlan in between, and he's from the US. But that it's actually pretty. That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Benelux boys together. All right. So today we're gonna have a small interview. We're gonna get in deep and to know a little bit more about Erik, to know a little bit more about Erik and what got him to do what he does now in terms of content creation, because most of y'all probably do know that this is the pioneer of the fighting table, which was previewed in one of the, I think it was at Utrecht, BCS. I think.
No, it was at Eindhoven.
Okay. Cool. Eindhoven BCS, where we played, I think, standard and premium, where we were playing some games and stuff, and he displayed a lot of cool stuff about the table. It's still on his YouTube channel if you want to see it. A lot of cool stuff. But so, how did you come about the idea of even doing something like that, and then using that to catapult your channel?
Well, the beginning of the table is actually really unknown, to be fair. It just was an idea that came in my head for like this looks amazing, this is really interesting, but it's back like years before I even knew that Vanguard was a thing, because as I played other card games, I played Yu-Gi-Oh like back in the day at the beginning of the game, and I even did Hearthstone and that kind of stuff. But I always was interested in seeing physical card games or just board games, like tabletop games, have a more digital stance and have something interesting, something amazing like a digital table. Then I watched the Vanguard anime, and they actually had such tables in the series. I'm like, that is exactly what I thought of as an idea. And like, if they can show it in the anime like that, it may be possible. Maybe try something for myself. And then also I was at the end of my college study, and I had the idea maybe I can do it as my papers degree to finish up my study and then do two birds with one stone. Sadly, things didn't plan out as the way I hoped for, and the concept idea was quite a big success. I had the chance to showcase it at the BCS in the Netherlands, because I had good ties with the store owner that also hosted the event, and he knew that I was doing the project. And he said to me, all right, if you can make a workable prototype before the event happens, I allow you to show it on the floor case, because I'm going to talk with Bushiroad and we're going to make it happen. So that catapulted the idea that made me go all out into that project for like a couple of weeks to make something workable. And then then you and all the players there experience what I made in a couple of weeks. And just by pure chance, by pure luck, DifferentFight, Chris was there. That was also the first time that I got to meet him. And he was really interested in the project, made the video on his channel, which also exploded like crazy. One of almost 100k view on that. And at the time, I already was planning to make it own Vanguard YouTube channel. And I thought this could be the best way to just jumpstart my channel with some interesting project and then get people to know who I am. And that's basically the start of everything for me.
Jesus, all right. So we were talking a little bit about schooling and stuff like that, and you said that you did a bit of college work. What was your major that you? I would guess programming or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. My major was programming, but on the microcontroller level. So so robotica, automatization of industrial level, that kind of stuff. So actually working on the computers itself, not really on database level or just software engineering, like maybe like Word, that you build something like Word or something, but more on the aspect of actually working with automatization of robots and factory lines and that kind of stuff. And that gave me a little bit edge on this project, because you needed to work with the ins and outs of the computers, of the actual chips and systems to know what. And I also did a minor on game development, and that experience I could basically translate that to build the prototype of the stride table, because for me, the way how I approached it was that it was one big video game that I was building, not a console, but more of a video game, as you were working with a game like Cardfight Vanguard. So I could take that experience and translate it to that project.
Okay. So you were saying like before you played a whole lot of games and you kind of just by happenstance got into Vanguard. That's what you were saying a bit earlier. Like, what got you into Vanguard actually? What sparked that interest?
This is probably a story that's relative for a lot of players, because I've heard this story a lot. I was I was at an anime convention with a lot of my friends, and one guy that was watching the Vanguard anime, he was talking with my brother and said, "Oh, you need to try this game out because it's really fun." And we just walked past a stand that was selling Cardfight Vanguard. You probably know the stand because it was a stand of offline gaming at that convention. So, so they bought a trial deck, like the old trial deck. I believe the Narukami Eradicator with Vowing Sword Dragon and the Dimension Police trial deck, while we were mid Giera, like we knew. So they bought the trial deck. So I was out of this conversation, but once they got home, my brother showed the trial deck, and I was really interested in what this was, because right at the time I was thinking maybe I should try a card game again. It was years ago that I tried Yu-Gi-Oh! I was feeling the spark again to maybe give card games a second go. So he showed me the cards, and then they also said, you know how you can really learn a card game? Just watch the anime and you actually learn it. And that was mind-blowing to me, because I come from Yu-Gi-Oh's background. Like, watching the card anime doesn't teach you shit for Yu-Gi-Oh, but for Vanguard it actually did. And I really loved the first season, and that was basically for me a reason to just start up the game and try everything out.
Jesus. But then, like, okay, so you came from like, oh, I start in the middle of the year. There's a whole lot of history of the game that's already passed, like 4 to 5 years already passed of the game, going into GR already, evolving into the skip period in between of like, okay, this is a game I love a lot. I'll be trying to design something that could be incorporated for future technology to come, and then now into creating your own YouTube channel. That is an insane leap. Were there any like, how to say it? Were there any like small issues or small like stumbles and steps that you had along the way? Because like having a huge undertaking like that oftentimes can be a bit taxing emotionally, especially if you're investing a whole lot of time into it. Did you feel any of that?
Oh, definitely, multiple times throughout my channel. Even like a couple of weeks ago, because for anybody that was keeping track of my channel, like the past 6-7 weeks, the only video type that I was uploading were the updates for the card reveals and not really anything else, because I was getting a little bit burned out because of the whole situation that we are in with Corona, no events. Everything feels like sluggish, but at the same time super fast paced, because reveals are coming left, right, and center. But that was one time. I also had one year ago when my father went on holiday and I needed to run the family business. That was like super taxing on also running a channel like this that tried to do everything. And at the same time, I had one right at the end of the Stride Table project when I put everything to a stop, because I knew and I experienced that it was too much for one individual, as I was doing it basically on my own, the whole project. And I learned the hard way that it's probably undoable for somebody like me. There are probably enough for if there's a whole project, a whole group that does everything. But once you learn that there's so many things around it, then you know that you're gonna disappoint a lot of people. And that's what I also experienced on the channel, with a lot of people saying, "What's happened to the Stride Table? Where's the project? How's everything going? Why don't you pick it up?" And that's also something that's mentally really taxing, because I really want to do that project. I really want to finish it, but I just know that I can't with the resources that I have right now. Maybe if for some reason things explode and we get a big boost in the Vanguard community, the channel booms and whatever it was, and I get more resources, I definitely want to go back to that project. But those things are really taxing mentally, as I'm an individual that tries to shoot for the stars. But while doing that, I realized there's no way I get past like my house rooftop or something like that.
Fair enough. Because oftentimes you can have a big dream, you can have a big
Yeah.
idea and stuff, and it's like, oh, you were right at the beginning, but there's sometimes you mentally skip the middle point. You just mentally
Yeah.
skip the middle point, and you already want to be at the end, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. But I mean, being realistic sometimes and um, knowing that okay, maybe putting the project on pause and come back to it later does seem okay. Does seem like a okay idea. But were there any other hobbies that you actually had in between of also playing Vanguard as well?
I played a lot of guitar. Yeah, you could say a musician, but not a professional musician. I did it a lot, like a lot. I have a lot of uh, um, records on my name that I did a lot of events. I played for some festivals, for small festivals that I played live. I had my own band with a couple friends. Some of the friends you even know. Chris is one of the band members. So I was really into music and playing guitar. I even worked at a local music school, and that's what I did a lot during the first years of playing Vanguard. But that slowly just dipped away as I started doing YouTube and really dedicating a lot of time into that, because playing an instrument on a higher level, because I really want to do well with something. I'm the kind of person, when I try to do something, I want to do it well, not
Mm.
not just okay, but actually well, and that takes time. And with doing YouTube, doing work like a almost full-time job, that's really taxing on my free time. And I also want to watch anime, do other stuff, video game, that kind of. So currently, there aren't really any extra hobbies besides YouTube and Vanguard itself. But I used to play a lot of video games. Music was one of those big things, and just maybe you could say doing just studying like in extra languages like Japanese language. I like to study that just for my free time, or going into the science of astrophysics, just physics, space travel. That in those kinds of areas, I can see that as a hobby as well, because I just do that for fun.
All right. So little fun little hobbies and things that bits and bobs that you like to do in your free time. So you
Yeah.
were saying a little bit about doing something well in terms of everything you want to do, you want to achieve. If it comes to YouTube, comes to Vanguard. But let's talk a little bit about more about the Vanguard aspect actually. Like what have you done in terms of competitively, okay for yourself in Vanguard? What if have you any events that you've topped in, any shop challenges, tournaments, stuff like that?
I topped a couple of events. The last event that I topped was right at the beginning of the reboot. There was I believe the BCS in Cologne that I got top 8 with OTT at the time, just at the start of the reboot. And before that, I topped a team league at the end of the GRA, so at GBT 14 Clan Booster from the Bermuda Triangle era. Got second place with my team at Brussels, and at that same season of Team League, we got a top 5 on the Team League, and we also got a Team League last year, a top 8 for that. And I topped and I won a couple of shop challenges. But shop challenges I don't really see as a notable thing, because it's just, in my opinion, a glorified locals, depending on how many people show up. But there was one shop challenge that is personal, very dear to me, and that was the one that we faced off against each other in the top 8, and then I had to fight against Lubo in the top 4, and then I had to fight and win against he played Shadow Paladin. I can't remember. You probably know who I'm referring to, but that shop challenge is something that I really hold dear to my heart, because all the best players for the Netherlands were present at that one, and for some reason I managed to clutch it out and actually won that one.
Fair enough. That's true. That's true. But it seemed like a lot of your positive experiences outside of the shop tournaments, of course, especially the one that you ended up winning it, were a lot of team-oriented things.
Yeah.
Do you just like team-oriented games in general, or playing with multiple friends at the same time and trying to win?
I like both singular or team league, but team league definitely has an advantage to me for preference, because there's a difference, just the aura around it is just a little bit different, because when you go to a singular tournament, even when you go with a big friends group, if you're going to the final rounds and they just flop at the earlier rounds, it feels a bit distant. You don't really are that connected to them. They probably want to go home. They probably want to do something else, and you're staying behind doing the rounds. And that feels a little bit different than if you are actually together in a team and you keep winning, or losing together. You're basically really. I believe in the Dutch you have a saying it's called "samen uit, samen thuis," and
Fair.
that really comes home in something like a team league. That you go together and you end together at this event, and you also share the experience together. And I've I've I went to top cup a couple of times, even in singular tournaments and on local levels, and it's nice to get there. But I really remember very vividly when we got to top second place or to the final round of Team League, how excited we were, how happy we were every single round that we won, especially the ones in the top 8, how we celebrated that. And that felt completely different than what's the case if you're doing it alone. Like, yes, everybody's happy for you if you win a tournament or you get second place, you can go to Worlds, but it's still a little bit different than if you're actually celebrating together because you together won that event or got to a high position for that event itself.
Okay, cool. So it's more like the whole camaraderie aspect of it. It's sort of like being together with just friends and just
Yeah.
enjoying the experience is also pretty nice. Are there like any cool things that oftentimes you do with your friends, like summer vacation stuff or anything for that matter that you like to do?
Yeah, basically for all kinds of stuff. With my friend group, we go to holidays together. We went a couple times to Belgium. We even one time with a friend group went to Spain for a week. That we just chill there. We even with the whole Vanguard community in the Dutch era, we sometimes go to a holiday away to just relax, be somewhere together, play some Vanguard, play some video games, do all those kinds of crazy stuff. Just go to amusement parks with a couple of buddies. Just doing fun stuff with everybody. It's probably the most enjoyable activities that you can do, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. Like, but then you told well, we've been talking a little bit about the whole camaraderie and bonding thing. Like, have you been playing a bit more Vanguard yourself, or has that been more on a decline for you? I mean, of course, events can't be played that often and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but I mean, in stuff like digitally, like Vanguard Zero or remote fights, even, have you been trying out any of those things? And what have you
Uh,
been thinking about them?
I have tried out Vanguard Zero. I personally haven't really tried out remote fights, the official remote fight, but I did try it a webcam fight like a really long time ago, and it was really awkward because you just don't see anything if the other person's webcam is either set up really awkward or they have a crappy quality. So my experience with that isn't all that great. Vanguard Zero, I sadly have dropped the game. I just don't enjoy it anymore after season 5, so I just stopped. And I've did EX. EX is really fun. Sadly, it's a bit outdated right now. If that was a bit more in theme what we have right now, then probably that was a good outlet for me at this current state. But physical card game, like you said, if I dropped actually playing Vanguard, how you said, in decline, that is definitely in decline right now because of the whole environment, and going to locals is for the longest of time was really annoying. Luckily, things are now getting better. We can actually go to our shops. We actually play. I've played a couple of times 2 weeks ago. There's probably that if everybody's in to play some games this weekend, we might play again the physical card game. So there's definitely a decline in the actual physical playing of the game, but I think that's for everybody like very common. I heard it from a lot of other players. W Slasher even told me that he haven't even played the game for 6 months in the current state. So yeah, so at least there's that.
Hmm.
So I think I think it's really logical that for a lot of players, everybody's in decline, unless you play Vanguard Zero. But Vanguard Zero, it is Vanguard, but it's also not Vanguard. There's quite a difference. I've seen players making a lot of stupid mistakes ever playing Zero, and then going back to the actual game and then forgetting that they can guard or something, or they can activate the PG when they want.
Or like drawing cards and holding onto cards in hand is a big thing also.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
but like talking about W Slasher as well, and other content creators. Have there been any content creators? Because I don't think I've seen you done any collabs yet on your channel. But is there any plans for that type of stuff in the future for you, or do you think, well, I'm gonna be solo a little bit for now, and then we'll see?
I'm definitely open for collabs. I'm in the talks with a lot of content creators just to experience what their opinion is about certain facts. Like I've talked with W Slasher quite often. I have I have to. I sometimes have a small discussion or a small takeaway with DifferentFight or Solemn about certain topics. I have there's I believe one collab that it's on my channel that I did with DifferentFight. There was when a release of Zero happened, that we just fought against each other on stream against just to showcase the cards. And there are definitely other content creators that reached out to me, just don't want to talk. True Champion Steven, that's a good buddy of mine wants to do a collab. We almost did one, but because of personal reasons, I had to cancel that event. Sadly, it was a fun little thing, but I'm definitely open to do collabs because that's I think the more fun aspects of doing YouTube and having a community of content creators to actually then do collabs like what we're doing now. This is a small little collab that we are showcasing right now, but I definitely have plans in the works for just fun interactive collabs with multiple content creators, because the collabs with one-on-one is fun, but I think when there are like 3 to 4, like 5 content creators in one single video, that's when things are going to get wacky and interesting, and when things start to break down and we get personality clashing with each other. So I have things in the running that I want to try out, and I just need to find out the right content creators for that, and if they can make time for such a video ideas. So I'm definitely open for content for collabs, and who knows, that might be soon on the horizon.
Ooh, spicy, ladies and gentlemen. That's hella spicy. But in terms of content, though, like how do you come about creating a video? What's your creative process? How does that happen?
Currently, it's really standard, as I have very specific video topics and videos ideas for every set. Like, you can assume certain videos happen on my channel when a new set drops. I have the set reviews, I had the deck spotlights, I have budget decks. Those things are like structure for me. That's what I wanted to do at the beginning when I started this channel. I wanted to have structured, so it's easier for me to make videos and create content. If I had to come up with videos ideas every single day, on that day I would just go crazy. I need to have a structure like that I at least can fall back to, like, all right, I have at least 10 videos a month that I know is gonna happen. Then all the videos in between, that's where the fun part is, because that's where I can be creative. And those things just happen. There's like when I just go to the bathroom, or I'm gonna shower, or I'm gonna go grocery shopping, I just suddenly have an idea in my head. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting topic to talk about, or hey, that's a funny skit that I want to do. Like all those skits that everybody's asking me to do again and more and more. Like those things just happen in a second. They just come in my head like, this is stupid, this is crazy, this may be funny, let's do it. But when I try to sit down and actually force those ideas out, it's just not gonna happen. That's basically what a lot of things happen on channels. That's like super spontaneous when something talks about. And there are definitely some occurrences that I see when I follow the community on Twitter or Facebook, and I see them talking about a certain topic. Maybe they're angry about something, or they're really excited about something, that I think maybe I should give my 2 cents about the topic and enlighten about certain details that they might be overlooking, or they might undervalue a bit. And I did that in those videos, that maybe the great is not so great. Maybe God Hand Dragon isn't overpowered. Maybe this is better than you expect. Those type of videos are more of a reaction to what's happening in the community. And those are basically the lines that I throw down to create videos. Either they just happen instantaneously in my mind, or I react to what the community is doing. Maybe I react to another content creator that they made a video where either agreeing with or disagreeing with, or I want to give some extra information. Like we've seen what Solemn Vanguard did with the whole Zazen to Zero movement. I mean, he literally gave free content to all.
Yes. So it's just like, okay, this is my 2 cents. You've seen 20 videos just like this one. Mine is different.
Exactly. You could say that is one of the biggest collabs that we did in the community.
All right, that's a very overachievement thing. So what about the future of Mr. Timely? What do you see for your prospects in the future for yourself, for the channel? What do you want to achieve?
A lot. A lot. There are so many things that I've been working on for like multiple years right now. A lot of my friends know that I've been doing certain things, and they're asking me, when is it done? When is it going up? You're talking about this for so many times. When is it actually gonna happen? And
Uh-huh.
these things sadly take time, but there are a lot of things in the pipeline for the channel. And the funniest thing is that the original intent of this channel has yet to show itself. Because the reason why I called it Vanguard Insider is because I want to do all the information, all in-depth talk about the game. And the original thought about this, and you can go back to one of my first videos, and I said it in that video, doing tutorials. Yet this channel has 0 tutorials on it after what, 2 years. So what I really want to do is go to that idea and actually start to do in-depth tutorials about the game, and then we're talking about every single nook and cranny. It's similar it's similar to what G is doing from G Station, that he's talking about maybe the mulligan or talking about the ticket shields or those in-depth deep dive on those specific topics. It's similar to that, but then more easier to digest and actual more structured out in a school-like session, that there is a crash course for every single topic. So there's multiple videos about skill designs, there are multiple videos about reading skills or analyzing the skills. Maybe there's a series about the comprehensive rules, because that's a pain in the ass for the whole community.
Trust, that is, reading can be very complicated at times.
Yeah,
Letters and arranging them in your mind, that is very hard for for us. Yeah.
So there are, and this is something that that I've been basically writing down for the longest of time on the channel. I've like multiple series in the pipelines. I've a lot of series already worked out. The only thing that I need to do is just record it and edit it. There's the scripting is done. Everything is already there. But I just don't have the time just yet, because I want to catch up with the content that need to be relative on what's happening in Vanguard, because my set reviews and all that kind of stuff, I'm in the past. I'm still in the past because I'm at set 8, and I want to catch up with Japan that's now at set 12.
Yeah.
So I first need to bridge that gap somehow, and then I want to expand on all those other ideas and really get into the name of Vanguard Insider, because there are some series that I did in the past, a couple of videos, like I did the one with Hamskay about the percentage wise of getting the correct hand size or getting that combo off, and I want to expand on that idea, maybe make a series out of that. So I will teach my viewers how to calculate this kind of stuff, how to calculate that the probability of this, maybe showcase how big the chance that your opening hand will look like something, how big is the chance that a top 7 search actually works, a top 5 search, and make there a series out of that content. But that's something that is in the pipeline for the future, and there are like tens of thousands of those ideas, and too many ideas, too little time.
All right. So we got like 2 more questions, 2 to 3 more questions, and then we be done. So of course we've been talking a little bit about Vanguard, about your hopes, your dreams, aspirations, stuff like that, things in your past, things in the future. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about now. So what has been some of your most favorite clans you've been playing recently? Of course, you have your mainstay, which is Gear Chronicle, because we can
Exactly.
you can see that great 2 in the back there behind you, and the big boy behind you. But what has
The
been
big
some
boy.
of the what has been
Also, I
some
got
of
always an SVR at my proposal.
Oh, by the way, don't forget, guys. Don't forget, there's gonna be a giveaway, especially for you guys, for people who comment your favorite cards and your favorite clan. So don't forget to do that, and there'll be a special giveaway. I think by the end of the year, which is gonna be a review of whatever we did this year, all the interviews, all the content that we made. So tune in for that one. All right, so back to back to the question. So what has been some of the clans you've really been enjoying recently?
I've really been enjoying Pale Moon in Standard, especially since the beginning of the reboot itself, when you got the Golden Beast Tamer deck, because that was really back to the roots of what Pale Moon was, the combo heavy orientated thing. And I'm really looking forward to Harry, because it looks like a really fun build. It might not be the most competitive, but I don't really care for that aspect right now, because there's also no tournaments. But the deck looks really fun with what it wants to do. But surprisingly, a deck that I've been enjoying for the longest of time right now is Gold Paladin Agravane. I don't know why, but that deck for some reason lost me. I always win with the deck. I always super high roll. I probably have about an 85% win rate with the deck, and even at the time when Anger Blader was at its full power, I didn't lose against Anger Blader with the deck, even if I went second. I out Anger Bladered every single time the Anger Blader deck. So I don't know what it is with the deck. I know it's not strong, but it just works for me. So I really enjoy that particular deck right now. And a deck that I'm also really enjoying, but haven't completely built it because I missed the last couple of cards, is Susanoo right now. It's a really fun deck. It's has a lot of intricate plays, and that's what I always search out in a deck, where there are a lot of options, a lot of playabilities, a lot of play options to do. That's where I really find the enjoyment, because that means that every single game that you play is a little bit different. And that's sadly not the case with every single clan. Like Royal Paladin is very bare bone in their plays. Once you did their plays, it's probably very similar the next couple of matches around. And with the decks that I played in the past, Pale Moon, the original Pale Moon, Agravane is very unique every single time because you're reliant on what your RNG is. Susanoo right now has a lot of options, and this also goes back to the GRL where I played Time Leap, which has like a million different plays what you can do. ZTV, that's something that I did. I haven't played Night Rose myself back at the time, but I've really enjoyed the Night Rose matchup because they also have those endless plays. So I really enjoy those type of decks right now, and did enjoy. So it's the more combo heavy orientated decks that I really like.
All right, okay. So one final question, because you did mention anime earlier. Top three, go.
top three.
Top three.
Wait a second. Then I can give you the number one very easily.
Okay. Ooh, guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this interview. We're coming out to the last stages of it. This has been super fun.
Okay. So for number one, we're gonna start off with number one. Now we're gonna start off with number three. Number three.
Oh dear. He's getting more stuff.
It's probably not really my number three, but I'm really enjoying it right now. And even it posted on Twitter for a couple of times. It has to be ReZero.
Okay.
ReZero. There's something about that story, like how depressing it is sometimes, but also how they screw over with Subaru every single episode. I find it magical for some reason. But
quick question though, who's she?
This is Rem.
You didn't get it. That was such a good joke.
Sorry. I don't like that joke. I don't like that joke. Let's be clear, all right?
All right. And who's the other two? Who's the other two?
The second favorite anime. Sadly, it's not in the box because it's on display somewhere else. It's this little girl. For Konosuba. Konosuba, it's such a hilarious show. Ever since the first episode and ever since the final episode, I've been only laughing the entire time. I don't know how they do it. Every single joke hits. And what's also really, really interesting about that anime is that you can really hear that the voice actors are enjoying themselves while actually recording the show. They just screw around in the recording studio, and I just love it. I love it. And the number one anime that it is very logical. You probably already can guess it when you hear when you relate what my name is, Mr. Timely. It has some origins from this besides the Timely deck. It's of course Steins Gate.
Hey.
Like this is what hooked me in anime. After of course the shonens like Naruto and One Piece and that kind of stuff where I started everything, but once I saw that anime, then I learned like, oh shit, there's more than just shonen.
I can actually learn.
Yeah, holy crap.
Now, Erik, I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you taking out your time to do this. Of course, you have your busy schedule of getting your content all set up and everything, especially if you have more stuff going on. Do you have any other plugs and stuff that you want to do? Any other things that are coming down the pipeline, like within like a couple of days from now, or anything like that?
Well, what's coming into the pipeline is something that I've been promising every single episode. The last episode is that I'm gonna do something else than Cardfight updates. Today, I'm actually gonna talk about not a new card. I'm gonna do a deck spotlight from VBT 8. So something we're finally gonna catch up, guys. So bear with me in mind. And the only thing that I want to shout out or plug is basically my personal Twitter. If you want to know, be up to date with what's happening, if something is in pipeline or I'm gonna do something, Twitter is the place to go. Because that's what I'm using. Some people follow me on Facebook or check my Facebook, but Facebook is not the place that you want to follow me because I'm not posting on Facebook whatsoever. The only thing that I use Facebook for right now is just to share my videos with the Vanguard community groups, and that's actually everything I use Facebook for. So follow me on Twitter. That's the thing, Twitter.
All right. Well, thank you, Erik. Is there any other final words you actually want to tell it?
Well, if we're gonna end this video, there's only one way that we can do it. Guys, oh, that's the microphone. Guys, I've been Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.
Thank you, Erik. So be awesome, stay awesome, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been your boy JJ and Mr. Time Leap. Till next time.